Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. Let's talk about the 10,000 hours rule. This came up, decades ago. I forget the guy's name who wrote the book. The whole 10,000 hours rule came from some dude who wrote a book about it. I'll break it down for you, but then we'll just talk about it. 10,000 hours basically means that you have to practice something, one thing, become an expert in one thing, as Jordan Peterson says, and you have to practice that one thing for 10,000 hours and master it, and then you can become successful at it. Now, you may be searching for the loophole. Is there a scenario where somebody didn't spend a full 10,000 hours and became successful? Who knows, probably. There's people that got viral videos and just got lucky, stumbled across some sort of deal or something. But what this all boils down to is just the obvious. The guy wrote a book years ago, everybody latched onto it as if it was some sort of brilliant recipe that he discovered, some equation. It just states the obvious. If you're really good at something, you can be successful at that. So I suggest picking an area, studying that one thing, whatever it is, and becoming an expert in it. It could be writing, write a lot, write for 10,000 hours, become a great writer, and you'll end up being a successful author, selling your books. Become a personal trainer, learn about it, spend 10,000 hours training. You'll be one of the best trainers in your community, in your town, and you'll be successful. But what it breaks down to, because some of you might be wondering about the math, how does one practice something for 10,000 hours, and what is that? In the book, it's boiled down to this. 20 hours a week basically is 10 years. You understand? If you practice your hobby or this skill that you're interested in for 20 hours a week for 10 years, you'll get your 10,000 hours. And there you'll be an expert. So for 10 years, 20 hours a week, you can have your little hobby, you can have your side hustle, and you'll get there. 10 years feels like a long time. When you get to be my age, 10 years goes by quick. I do 10 years standing on my head. This last 10 years went by way too quick. Makes me think about this next 10 years, how I got to get busy. So if you want to increase your rate of success using the 10,000 hour model, what you could do is increase how much work and how much effort you put into this hobby, into whatever it is that you're practicing. So if 20 hours a week is 10 years, right? This is according to the dude who wrote the book, who invented this shit. I wish I could remember his name. You could Google it. 40 hours a week, it's 5 years. It's according to the guy's own math. If 20 hours a week is 10 years, 40 hours a week is 5 years. So you can spend 40 hours a week, that's a lot of time, but you can spend 40 hours a week grinding forward towards a goal, learning material, hustling, doing one thing. Some people are so scattered with their whole lives and they never really get anywhere. You find a guy who's laser focused in one thing, he really gets some traction. 40 hours a week, 5 years. 5 years really isn't that long. Geez, this last 5 years, to me, feels like 1 year. COVID, that was what, 4 years ago? That felt like yesterday, felt like last year, felt like 6 months ago. You would have been studying 40 hours a week during that time in one thing. You'd now be an expert. You could now have that career change. You could now start that business or the current industry you're in. You might get propelled, just rocketed forward. But you would have had to have put in 40 hours a week. Now, you could do this 10,000 hours in 2.5 years, right? And all it would take, 80 hours a week. All your time. Become completely consumed. From waking moment to your sleeping moment. And stay up late, wake up early, stay up late, and do this hardcore. Maybe you're unemployed right now. Maybe you don't have a lot going on in your life right now. You could pick a direction, march towards it as hard as you could imagine, sprinting towards it every single day, gassing yourself out. You go to bed exhausted. You might be slightly overwhelmed, but it's only 2.5 years. 2 years? 2.5 years ain't nothing. It's a blink of an eye. It'll go by whether you do anything or not. 2.5 years is going to happen regardless of if you're productive or not. And watch, 2.5 years goes by and you don't do nothing and you realize, wow, I just wasted that time because I could be making 10 times the amount of money as I'm making right now. I could have the life that I've always dreamed of right now if I would have just put in some time these last couple years. So that's how it breaks down. Motivational people get all hot on this stuff. You hear a lot of people promoting the 10,000 hour rule. To me, all it really is just an obvious way of understanding this basic lesson that the harder you work, the more proficient at something you'll be, the better at something that you are, the more chance for success in that area that you have. I was given advice many, many years ago. It's always stuck with me. You become good at one thing. You could take a hobby, something that you're interested in, it helps, and do that thing. Do it. Do it all the time, night and day. Become obsessed with it. Become the best at it. You don't just do it all the time, you become the best at it. You're one of the best in your area, if not the best, and you strive for that. And then, when you're the best at something in your area, people will recognize you. That recognition could mean fame. That recognition could mean money. That recognition could mean your success. And it all started from your hard work, from becoming a master in one thing and becoming the best in one thing. So I don't really think it needs to be too complicated. I think that we just need to look at ourselves and how we spend our time. I talk a lot about the Mind, Body, and Soul program. I talk a lot about making lists and scheduling out every waking moment of your day. I had someone the other day tell me that they want adventure. They want adventure. They want more adventure in their life. I told them, you don't need no adventure. That's childish. You still want to be a little kid. What you need is hard work every day. Grind towards one direction and kill yourself every day. Every day you go to bed exhausted, tired, taxed. And you had ground your knuckles to the bone on one project, in one field, with one direction, with one goal. And you do that shit for years, relentlessly. I mean, adventure? That's your adventure. Are you man enough to become good at one thing and to become successful? Some people aren't man enough to be successful. Are you man enough to be successful? Food for thought.